Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the REBOR Acrocanthosaurus Hercules 1/35 scale dinosaur replica deluxe pack. Alright you guys, so taking a look at the box here, it is the same style that we've seen with the other REBOR dinosaurs we've reviewed. Very nice look at the silhouette there of the Acrocanthosaurus along with its skeleton. Really like this very nice style of boxes. Feels very nice and matte. And I'll give you a look here at the back. And you can see the previously released dinosaurs that REBOR has done. It's the REBOR Collections catalog. We have previously reviewed the King T-Rex, the Wind Hunter, and Savage. And once you remove the outer slipcase, we now have this cardboard box that we will go ahead and open up. From there we have a card that gives us some good information on the Acrocanthosaurus. If you'd like to pause and read, feel free to. And you can see from the image down here that Acrocanthosaurus was a very large theropod dinosaur. And like with the other REBOR models, it's very well protected with some inner foam pieces that keep it preserved. Alright you guys, and once we get it out of the box, we have the Acrocanthosaurus itself, we have the Tenontosaurus prey, and then we have the display base. First things first, let's go ahead and take a look at the Acrocanthosaurus itself. And I must say that I absolutely love the aesthetics of this dinosaur. It looks absolutely incredible. If you just look at the level of detail that went into creating this, it's just amazing. You can tell that whoever designed this was careful to give it a lot of love and attention, replicating the most minute details to bring about a very nice looking dinosaur model. I'm a ginormous fan of the coloration on this guy. I really love the autumn-like coloration that it has. It's basically like a very deep maple orange type color with some deeper blacks and some lighter beiges. It kind of reminds me of an apple cobbler. I'm just very, very pleased with the aesthetics of this dinosaur and the way that it came out. I'll give you a close-up of the head. As you can see, it looks very, very, very cool. You get more fine type scales at the front of the head. And very nice ridge work there. You can see the skeletal structure underneath the skin. The eye just looks very, very blank. You can see it's basically like just like a whitish, yellowy looking eye. It has a very tiny, tiny, tiny pupil on there that you can barely see. Teeth look very, very nice. If you look from the front, just very menacing. Very, very cool. Very nice. If you look from this side, so you can see that from both sides, it really does look spectacular. I love the coloration, the way they did the blending of the color in there. I think it just looks superb. Now, just like with the other REBOR dinosaur theropods, when you open the jaw like that, you get some really nice detail on the inside. And I will note that unlike the other ones that we reviewed, the jaw opens very smoothly on this one. And you can get a better look there at its teeth. Very nice pearly whites. The skin fold there in between the two jaws. Very, very cool. Really nice detail there in the upper palate. Tongue looks very, very cool, very slicked. And from both sides, this just looks really, really, really nice. Just very menacing, but also very organic. It doesn't come across as overly being like a monster or anything. I mean, it is scary looking, but it does look like an animal. Rest of the body is also very, very nice. And as you can see here, just a very beautifully done paint scheme. Lots of detail throughout its body. Very nicely done scales. Although from what I've heard, the scales on this dinosaur are actually too large. It should have much smaller, finer scales. But, still looks very, very nice. You can't deny that. Very much of a beast. The ridge here on its back is very, very nicely accomplished as well, as you can see. And very interesting, looking theropod dinosaur. And I just like the way that they, did the coloration up there. As you can see, it is like an amber orangey kind of color. It does have more of like a orangey yellow color down here. And I think on the camera, it's actually making it look lighter in color than it is. This is a very deep color. You can see that it does have more of like a lighter cream kind of color underneath that they did a very nice job blending, with the paint. And Just give you the detail right there on the legs. Isn't that magnificent? Arms are very nice, just kind of hanging out there. Can't really do a whole lot with them, it doesn't look like. Claws are very, very cool. Very nice long fingers. The middle finger looks especially long. But I really like the legs, and REBOR does a very, very nice job with the feet of its theropods. I just think they look great. You can see the little dew claws here on the side. Now, REBOR did enlarge the feet somewhat. In real life, it wouldn't have had feet this large, but this was for stability reasons so that it doesn't topple over like several of their models tend to do. I'll give you a look here at the tail. Has very nice curvature to it, and all around just looks really, really, really good. What is very interesting about this, and while I do give REBOR credit for attempting to fix the balancing issues by enlarging the feet, it doesn't distract too much from the overall look of the dinosaur. But unfortunately, the feet do not sit flat on the surface. The front one right here does. The left foot sits flat on the surface, but the back one does not. It's actually balancing on its middle toe, like just the very front of the middle toe. So you have a flat foot here and then one back there that's, kind of off like that. And they actually do include it being packaged with a plastic tray to, supposed to prevent warping. And I don't know if it's causing the warping or if it's already warped and the plastic base just isn't doing anything to help it. But, it's preventing it from sitting very securely on the surface. And once you put it on the base, this actually gets a lot worse, and we will get to that in just a moment. But first, I want to give you a look at the Tenontosaurus, which is the prey dinosaur that comes in here. And as you can see, it is pretty dead. Its eyes just kind of closed, and it ain't coming back to life unless it becomes a zombie, which it kind of almost looks like one. But very nicely done detail on the head. The sculpture work on it just looks very, very good. Very nice detail. The beak looks very cool. It's painted, like a darker color. And even though this is an accessory piece, essentially, it still looks very good. They definitely did a really good job with this. And not only the sculpt work, but the coloration. It's not just one color. It's like, it's like a deep gray, and then, it has more of like a silver sort of thing there on bottom. So they definitely did a good job giving it color and blending the color. It's got a very nice looking hand that's just kind of lifelessly hanging right there, and just overall looks very, very nice. Cool looking nostrils. Now, of course, this is a prey piece. It's supposed to be kind of gory and bloodied up, so you have some gashes right there on its neck, and kind of see them there too. And what's really cool is like the bottom side right here. They just did a really nice job with this. It definitely looks like freshly torn up dinosaur corpse. It just the detail in there with the ribs and all the guts and stuff. Very slicked looking, the way that they gave it that really glossy finish. Coloration on it's just amazing. Really, really impressed with this little prey piece. So to get the prey in its mouth, you open up the jaw, and then you can kind of just place it like the teeth. You'll see that there's these little gashes there. You'll use those to line it up inside the dinosaur's mouth and just kind of press down on it, and there you go. He's holding the prey. It actually fits in there pretty well. It's pretty secure, but after a little while the jaw seems to like loosen up because sometimes it falls out. Next item here is going to be the display base, and as you can see here, it's very nicely done. It's supposed to kind of look like a riverbed type of thing, type sediment with a few stones placed about in it, and it does look very, very nice. It's a lot more simplistic than what we got with the Ceratosaurus. I absolutely love the base with the Ceratosaurus. This is more simple, but it still looks great, and you can kind of see like some little imprints there where you're supposed to place the dinosaur's feet, and the back of it underneath, you have a look. It says Acrocanthosaurus, Hercules. Very cool that they do that. Very nice looking base. Has a good bit of heft to it. It sits on the ground pretty flat. I think it does kind of raise up just a tad at the bottom. But anyway, you're supposed to use these imprints right here to kind of line up your dinosaur. And they are a little bit hard to see, at least on my base, but you can kind of see where, the feet should align. So you take your dinosaur and you place it on the base, but as you're going to see here, it just doesn't stand very well, if at all. because the feet are not flat. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And, you know, I try to kind of move the base around and, you know, see what am I doing wrong? You know, why is this not working? It's just that REBOR didn't do a very good job creating a base that it can actually stand on. It's just pretty unfortunate. I mean, the whole point of including a display base is so that, you know, the animal will stand. And it just doesn't because the feet are not flat. Now, you can kind of like wing it, and you'll see the little stones there on the base. Just kind of maybe like put the toe like on top of one of them, and yeah, it'll stay. But it's not a very good fix because I did this and it ended up falling. Its head crashed into my wall on next to my shelf. And as a result, you have this little paint rub right there on its ridge above the eye, which is very, very unfortunate. It even fell on this review table when I just had it standing without the base earlier, you know, with the prey in its mouth, which resulted, unfortunately, in a few more paint rubs that you'll see right there on its elbow, right in there. And even atop the head, which it did not have before. You'll see that there's a paint rub right there, and then a more minor one right there. So, you know, whether you have it on or off the base, it's not very stable. And although I absolutely love the look of the dinosaur, I'm very, very disappointed and very let down that it does not stand very well and doesn't even stand on the base, which the whole purpose of putting a base in with the dinosaur is so that it can balance, and it just doesn't do it here. So, you know, I'm really let down by this. And if you try to put it on the base with the prey, it still doesn't really do anything. You got to kind of wing it, like I said, you know, by sticking it like its toe right here, like on top of the stone, like that. But I really do not trust this at all. So I'm not going to leave it like this on my shelf. I'm just going to kind of keep it off the base, and hopefully off the base it doesn't fall again. And if I placed my Acrocanthosaurus on a shelf with my other two REBOR dinos, you can see that it is something of a middle ground between the Ceratosaurus and the King T-Rex. But it certainly looks like it fits in with both of these magnificently done dinosaur replicas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the REBOR Acrocanthosaurus Hercules 1/35 scale dinosaur model, along with the 1/3 scale Tenontosaurus dead dinosaur. Overall, I've got to hand it to REBOR for creating an absolutely beautifully done piece. It's absolutely stunning, visually speaking. Coloration on it is amazing, and I'm a huge fan of the aesthetics of this dinosaur. From a functionality standpoint, I really am disappointed that this thing doesn't work that great on its base. It looks really good with the prey on its mouth, if you can get it to balance on its base like I did right now. Somewhat. You can see that the foot still, you know, the feet aren't very flat on there right now. The problem is that it's fallen and it's gotten its paint chipped, which is very disheartening to me because this is so close to being perfect, but it's also so far away. It needs to be able to stand on or off the base, and right now it can't do that reliably, which makes me very, very disappointed with this set. I mean, it looks great. I think if you're a fan of the REBOR product line, you're going to love this. But just be aware that it does have these issues standing, and you're going to want to place it somewhere where it's, you know, not going to fall. If it does fall, you know, it needs to be caught by bubble wrap or, you know, some foam, something around it, you know, in case it does slip off the base. But I mean, other than that, it looks really good, but REBOR still has a long way to go in order to make sure that these balancing issues are eradicated once and for all. So if you're a fan of Acrocanthosaurus, you know, you love high quality detailed dinosaur models, then I do recommend you picking this up because it does look great. There's no doubt about it that it's very dynamic looking, but the fact that it doesn't function as it should is a very disappointing aspect of this thing to me. So for what you're paying for this dinosaur, and I paid $62.99 on it, getting it through Big Bad Toy Store, you want it to be perfect, and I just feel like for the price they're asking, there's really no excuse for it not to be able to stand on its base without falling and damaging its paint. That is just ridiculous. So if I were to give it a rating between 1 and 5 stars, I'm not going to give it 5 stars. If it functioned as it should, you know, on or off the base, you know, and without any problems, then I would probably go ahead and give it the 5 stars. Unfortunately, it doesn't. I kind of feel that even 4 is a little bit generous given that it fell over and chipped its paint. I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 stars because I think it is pretty close to being perfect, but REBOR really needs to go ahead and get these issues sorted out, because I'm sure a lot of us that collect the REBOR line are tired of dinosaurs, that can't balance. They're tired of them falling over and, damaging their paint. It's just at the point where it's a little bit ridiculous. So REBOR, you guys are doing a great job aesthetically, but you need to make your dinosaurs stand with no issues. All right, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the Acrocanthosaurus and whether or not you're planning on picking it up. Be sure to follow Victoria's Cantina on Twitter. And as always, I want to thank you for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.